Hello, everybody. My name is Kutai Ulkar. I'm the Director of Recruitment Admissions and Awards at Mount Allison University, and welcome to our virtual reception for our applicants and matriculated students from the United States. We're going to take a couple of seconds here as we're setting up and people are trickling into the presentation. While we wait, I just wanted to introduce you to Mark Lozanowski, our admission coordinator, as well as the moderator for the evening. And Mark is going to quickly tell you guys about our Q&A box and how you can submit some questions today.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you are. Thank you for joining us. We are here to make sure all of your questions get answered. So in the question and answer box, the Q&A box that you see there on your screen, please, anything that comes to mind, if you hear anything and you want to know more about it, please pop it into that Q&A box and we will round up all of your questions at the end of Kutai's presentation so that the panel can address them. So don't be shy, that's why we're here. Please fire away with all of your questions and welcome.
Thank you, Mark, for that. Also, while we wait for some other people to join us, please write down where you're joining us from today. And also quickly tell us if you're, what part of US obviously you're in, but also by any chance if you're in Canada right now or in the United States. We're just gathering this information so that when we're giving you some feedback, it will help us with the answers. Thank you. And we'll just wait a couple of seconds here. Oh, and one thing I also want to say, unfortunately, of course, you know, working virtually from home, things happened. Right now, there's a bit of a construction happening where I am. So if you hear any noises in the background, please excuse that. And if it gets really bad, then we will stop and we'll make some arrangements around using a microphone, or maybe Mark will take over and go from there. So we'll wait a couple of seconds here before we start. All right, I guess we can get things rolling. So again, hello everybody, and I'm very happy to be joining you from a beautiful day in New Brunswick here. It's about 25 degrees Celsius, gorgeous day. And although we're working remotely, we're very happy to be here today. And I'm actually joined by a group of panelists today. This time I'll ask them to turn on their cameras and their microphones, and maybe they can quickly introduce themselves. Krista, we'll start with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Krista Maston and I'm the International Student Advisor at Mount A.
Hello everyone, and my name is Biko and I'm a fourth year politics, philosophy and economics student here at Mount A.
And I once again am Mark Lozanowski, one of two members of the panel today of the class of 2004, and working as a recruitment and admissions counselor at the university.
Thank you everybody. Our panelists will be back towards the end of our presentation to answer any of your questions. As Mark mentioned before, please feel free to type up any of your questions or comments into the box, and we'll try to get to all of them. We have a lot to cover today, and I know that there are a lot of questions you might have in your mind. So with the 2019-2020 session academic year coming to an end at Mount Allison University, we're more and more now focusing on what the fall will look like for our incoming and returning students. One thing we know for certain is that Mount Allison University will be open. We will be delivering academic programming, and we will be welcoming students from all around Canada and all around the world with the same enthusiasm that we've shown for the last 181 years. Of course, the most important things for us is that we want to be able to supply our students, faculty and staff with the most stable, safe, and stimulating education environment that we can deliver. So We are truly going through some very extraordinary times. We're also a long way away from ending this pandemic. I'm sure that there is going to be more and more information coming up over the summer, and our aim is really to be able to supply you with as much information as possible to help you with making the informed decisions. So making sure that you'll be able to understand what you may expect in terms of your academic courses, campus life, as well as the throughout the year regulations in terms of self-distancing or groups of people gathering together. So just to let you know, at this time, this all information will come. It comes with a caveat that we're bound by the provincial or state recommendations around health regulations, self-distancing, and also the personal protection measures. Therefore, things may change very quickly as this pandemic has shown over and over again. At this point, New Brunswick is moving toward a more open and relaxed state. We haven't seen a new COVID-19 case for a while now, but that doesn't mean that at any time the government may shift things back to more strict measures. So please make sure that you are following up on the news and also stay in touch with us. So at this time, what might September look like? So beginning in the fall term, university is planning to offer a blended of on-campus classes and online alternate delivery courses. Depending on the class size, students will be able to attend lectures virtually while undertaking experiential learning parts like the labs and tutorials in person. So for those students who can physically get to our campus, the fall will have a mixture of virtual courses with a lot of hands-on learning as well. Depending on the courses that you're taking and the class size of these courses, you may be asked to do some virtual lectures or actually you may have in-person lectures as well. Classrooms, labs, and studios will undergo a number of adjustments consistent with public health guidelines. And we will continue to encourage our students to use social distancing and personal distancing rules, as well as using personal protection gear as well. More information again on this will come throughout the summer. Addition to all of the physical preparation on campus, our faculty heads, as well as in the leadership of our provost, are planning on how to effectively deliver our academic courses online or through alternate means, and also in person while staying safe. As I said before, the health and well-being of all of our students, faculty, and staff are the paramount importance to us. For those who may not be able to get to campus for fall 2020 due to either travel restrictions or personal issues, or if you're one of those groups who may be more vulnerable to the pandemic, we are working towards fully virtually online courses as well. Along with some of these parts will be, like even the lab and tutorial parts and the student support parts will also be available online. And more of those information will be coming up very shortly over the next couple of days. So then residence accommodation, a lot of our students are asking what will my living arrangements will look like this fall. Residence again will be open and we will be accommodating students on campus. We are continuing to make plans around what that will look like. Very high chance that every room will be a single room. We are making plans and coming up with guidelines on how the facilities on residences, like the bathrooms, will be used, and the cleaning as well as access to them, and the guidelines around those will be communicated to students in a timely fashion. Dining hall, food services on campus will continue to operate with central focus and well-being of our students. We are going to find out how we can introduce measures in the dining halls where there will be protective measures with screens. There will be staggered acceptance into the dining hall, so on and so forth. Again, full measures on these will be communicated to students in the next couple of days, which again will help you with getting a picture of what your student life or the residence life will look like this fall. As I mentioned before, we need to be cognizant of the fact that there are factors that the university can control and there are factors that we cannot control. One of them is the border travel and restrictions. As I know, at this time, the border travel between the United States and Canada remains closed to all but essential services. Now, over the next couple of months, how would that change will be is yet to be seen. Having said that, we are making regular contacts with government agencies to learn the status of students traveling for education, and we're definitely not alone on this one. So my hope is that very soon, again, there will be more guidelines on when the borders may be open for students or how the students can be classified as to travel to stay on campuses. And as I said earlier too, at any moment, the government may decide to revert back to more strict measures. If that happens, then we will obviously gonna have to revise our plans and communicate with our students. I also wanna let everybody know at this time that we are honoring all previous offers made. This webinar is only for those offered students and matriculated students, so that all of our scholarships also are still honored. And students still are required to meet the guidelines of graduation in the United States or Canada or anywhere in the world. So a part of that is that you will have to send us final transcripts from your high school. And we understand that you may not be able to get access to your high schools before the end of the semester. So at this time, we will accept emails directly from your guidance counselor or your principal or your, of your high school as a official document. So please make sure that you communicate with your school and have those documents for us before the start of September semester. So as I mentioned before, there's going to be a lot of updates coming out over the summer. One way to really stay on top of these communications is to continuously check our website at mta.ca/health alerts. That's a place where we continuously update FAQs for incoming students as well as campus life and financial aid. Please check those out. Another part obviously is your email, both your MTA email as well as your personal email. We try to send you updates and reminders. Sorry about that, there's a couple of fire trucks passing by. And of course, following us up in social media, in Instagram and Twitter is a good way to stay on top of things. But please check your emails regularly, not just for any updates around COVID-19, but updates about course registration, campus life, societies and clubs. They all will try to reach to you via email primarily. So make sure that you know how to access your email and that our emails are coming into your email box and not going to your junk mail. So we're quickly going to talk about what's next, next steps that you should be taking over the summer, self-directed distance courses that you may want to take this summer, tips for academic preparedness, connect with how you can connect with the MTA community, as well as how you can continue to explore what Mount Allison has to offer. And then Krista is going to take over to talk about study permits and pathways to stay in Canada after graduation, which will be followed by a Q&A session. I know that most of you have paid your registration deposit, which is great. But those of you who haven't paid your deposit yet, in order to confirm your spot at the residence as well as your classes and confirm that you will receive your scholarships, you need to pay your deposit, which is due June 1st. If you haven't already done so, please apply to residence. There's a residence deposit fee. And this deposit fee will also guarantee you a residence room. At this point, I know that you may be asking, should I be applying for residence? If you're planning to be on campus for this fall, sorry, I would strongly recommend you to apply. You'll be able to receive full refund till June 1st and a partial refund later in July. So more information, you can find it on our residence website. For your study permit application, I'll let Krista talk about that. It is much easier process, obviously, for US citizens. And also, as I mentioned before, please submit your final transcript. So these are the 4 big things that you should consider doing this from now till the end of summer. So self-directed distance learning. Mount Allison University this year, in order to help students with their summer months where they might not be able to work due to COVID-19 and they might be off school right now, we've decided to open up our spring and summer semester to allow incoming grade 12 students to take 4-credit university courses. You're only allowed to take 1 course. These are 4 credit, so you will receive a degree, grade for this course, and it will impact your GPA. So please make sure that you're doing the best you can. These are flexible and self-paced courses, which means that you have basically 17 weeks to complete the classwork. Depending on the course you're taking, there will be readings, there will be homeworks, there may be midterms, and there may be a final exam. The course material will be available through our online portal called Moodle. And for international students, we waived the international differentiation fee for these spring and summer courses. And instead of paying $1,800 per course, it's actually only 877 Canadian dollars. I'm not sure what that comes down to US dollars right now, but it's definitely much less than 877. So it's quite a good offer at this time. And if you're interested in learning more about these courses, you should contact our advisors at mta.ca, advisor@mta.ca. But the only thing that I need to remind you is that the deadline to choose and register into a course is coming up very, very fast on May 22nd. So please, if you're interested in doing one of these courses, you need to contact our admissions office right away after choosing one of the 1,000 or 2,000 level courses. Here are some of the important dates. We've talked about the May 22nd, the last day for changes in registration or picking up one of those courses. You have till May 25th to make a payment, which can be done through online banking. You have till July 17th to withdraw from this course. And we put this in here because we want to make sure that you understand that this, again, impacts your GPA. It's a university course. It is a credit course. It is self-directed learning, so it may not be everybody's cup of tea. So if you find yourself struggling with it, if you find that this is not what you were expecting, or that you find that you don't have time now that because the COVID-19 restrictions are lifting and you want to work, you can always drop the course by July 17th without any penalty in terms of your GPA. And if there's any exams related to these courses, they will be on September 5th. Again, I strongly recommend to email our academic advisors at advisor@mta.ca to get some more guidance on this. And if you have any questions on these, please put it in the Q&A section. So how can you stay prepared over the summer for the fall? We understand at Mount Allison University that most of you had a very interesting fall. Courses were canceled, prom was canceled. You haven't had a chance to really sit down and work with your teachers to plan for your transition from high school to university. We understand that, and we are here to help you. So again, connecting with our academic advisors is a good idea. You may be able to, you're strongly recommended to continue your current high school studies. And if you're doing any kind of online courses with your high schools or your learning districts, please continue to do that. And also we have a non-credit pre-calculus course for those of you who are going to be in math-related subjects that you may want to take this course. It is a free course. It is a non-credit course, and there's no really grading for it, so there's no pass or fail. This is for your benefit to prepare yourself for the rigors of the university. You can see, you can access this at myopenmath.com, and you can see the ID number as well as the enrollment key. As I mentioned before, this is a free course. Another way to do stay prepared for the fall is to read up on current world events. Mount Allison, regardless of what you're studying, is a university where you will be asked to engage in debate, asked to talk about different things. So we're gonna make sure reading up on the new, like the world events is a good idea to stay sharp for the summer. Now, we want you also to stay connected with our community throughout the summer. So we have a Facebook group for reserved only for the incoming students for this fall. It's called Mount Allison Incoming Students 2020-2021 Facebook group. This is a good opportunity for you to meet with your friends or your future friends, as well as make connections and stay on top of the news around what's happening in Mount Allison community. Similarly, we have something for the parents and families. For the parents and families Facebook group, this is a great opportunity for families and parents and guardians to be in contact with each other and support each other. And there's also virtual campus tours, and contacting our student ambassadors is available. I strongly recommend doing both the virtual tour if you haven't been on campus yet, or connecting with one of our ambassadors, because we believe that peer-to-peer communication between students are are key to what Mount Allison is about. And you can do those by going to our website. This is our homepage here. I'm sure that you're very familiar with that by now. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see this little icon right here. It says chat with a student ambassador. If you click in there, you'll see a whole list of students. Please feel free to filter out and see people by their interests, their programs, or where they're from. And feel free to contact any of the ambassadors and they'll write you back. And if you click one of those the icons for the arrow icons, sorry, it will take you to the virtual tour area. Again, this was a good opportunity to see the campus if you haven't been on campus yet. Read about different buildings, what kind of programs or support units they contain. Also to watch some interesting videos about different programs and faculties on campus. Exploring Mount Allison, what Mount Allison has to offer to you remotely is also very important. We'll go through all these things that you see on your screen very quickly. So we pride ourselves as being a very involved university. We have over 110 clubs and societies. Again, these clubs and societies will function in the fall. However, how they're going to be holding their events or their meetings will be based on the health regulations on campus this fall as well. I strongly recommend you to go to the website that is on your screen, right-hand corner, top corner, to read out about different societies, learn about them, reach out to them, let them know that you're a new incoming student and that would like to participate in their clubs or societies, and they'll be more than happy to connect with you. And there will be more information about their involvement will be coming throughout the summer. Same with varsity sports and club sports. Discussions between Canadian universities on how the varsity sports will be held are still ongoing. Currently, New Brunswick government is allowing for low contact sports to start up again. Now, what does that mean for varsity sports when it comes to fall is yet to be seen. If you are interested, if you're part of our varsity teams, or if you're interested in any of your clubs teams, please keep checking back with us in our website to find out about where things are going with that. But more than likely, these sports will take place, but the levels of commentators, the spectators will be, is yet to be seen. So we'll see if we're going to be able to let students come and watch these sports in groups, in large groups. And the last slide that I'll talk about is the support for students, students on campus. We understand that this pandemic has been very, very difficult on grade 12 students. A lot of you were looking for your graduation semester, especially last semester, getting ready for prom, getting ready to head to university or colleges. So we understand, so we are here to assist you both physically, spiritually, and mentally. All of our student support functions and departments will continue to operate this fall. Again, how they will be able to support our students in person versus virtual, or again, both, will be decided over the summer, but they will be there and they will be reaching out to all of our incoming students throughout the summer to touch base and to assist them, and also to educate them about all the different services they give up. They offer, during the summer, during the fall. One thing I can tell our students is that these support staff and departments are there to assist, and they're one of the best resources that you can use on campus. They're very passionate about what they do, and due to our small size as a university, they're really personal. You know, they really will go out their way to help you. So I strongly recommend you to check out the website on your screen, student support at mtn.ca/student support, and see what they have to offer. With that, I'm going to stop and I'm going to hand it over to Krista to take away and start talking about the International Center. Krista?
Hi again, everyone. As I mentioned, my name is Krista Maston and I'm the International Student Advisor at Mount A. So I'm just going to go through quickly an overview of some of the services and programs that are offered through Mount A's International Center. So firstly, it's International Orientation, which is a program that we run, that we offer just prior to general university orientation in the fall, and then to a smaller degree in the winter term for students who are starting in January. With an international orientation, we offer, airport pickup service. We offer information sessions on, all of the, from academic to social to, cultural topics. A big part of international orientation is connecting new students with returning students, so upper year students. So upper year students who are volunteering their time to come back and come back early to campus and to share their insights and their experiences with how they transition to from high school to university in Canada. So it's a really wonderful program. Again, information sessions, but also lots of social activities and ways that we kind of engage students and help them prepare for life and for life at Mount A and academics at Mount A. We also offer a mentorship program for first year international students. So through this program, we match new students, so first year students with upper year students. And so the idea is that students are meeting one-on-one. So the upper year students will invite their mentees out, for a coffee or, to an event that they're going to. We match students based on interests. So, hopefully there are things that students have in common. There are also activities that we will organize. So we always do a big Halloween party as part of the mentorship program. We organize trips. So it's a really wonderful program. More than 80% of first year international students go through the mentorship program. So it's a really great community program. And so it's a great way to stay connected with all of the new friends that you meet during international orientation as well. We offer a range of academic support services through the International Center. So we have an academic support program coordinator who can meet with students one-on-one, talk about any difficulties that students might be facing, and then transition to university studies. Again, we're a small office, and we really pride ourselves on that personal touch, and so we're here to support students in any sort of challenges that they may face. Health insurance. So the province of New Brunswick a few years ago, I think we're in our third year now, actually made changes to policy that now allow international students who are here at Mount A for their degree to register for our provincial healthcare coverage, so NB Medicare. And so this is about a $700 savings per year, because private insurance through the Students' Union at Mount A is about $700 for the year. So again, during international orientation, we help students with this process of application. So it's another thing that we help students with through our services. And then immigration support. So whether this is at this stage of your cycle at Mount A, where you're applying for your first study permit or trying to understand what's needed, we can help with that. Also, once you're here and you might have questions about working while you're a student or after you graduate, we're here to help provide that support as well. So our study abroad and exchange programs are also coordinated through the International Center. So we have 31 programs operating in 20 countries. And so these range from semester long to year long, and then also some short-term summer programs as well. For exchange programs, students often will apply for exchange in their second year and then go abroad in their third year. So this is also something to, a great program that, that I encourage you to learn more about after you get here. Okay, so a bit about study permits. So, IRCC, so the Government of Canada recommends that students apply online for study permits. Now, for US citizens, you are able to apply upon entry. So that means like if you were, driving to New Brunswick and you wanted to apply at the border, that is possible. I think it's, generally it's recommended that you apply online before you get here. The processing time is not that long in the States. I think right now it's only 2 or 3 weeks. And so, the benefit is that you know that the documentation that you're providing is adequate and that there won't be anything missing. So again, some students will choose to just bring their documentation to the border and apply upon entry. But, I would encourage everyone to take a look at the online application process and to start doing that soon. We do have a study permit application guide on our website, so I would encourage you to check that out. So it's at mta.ca/study permit. For biometrics, so biometrics is essentially like getting your fingerprints and photo taken, and it is required for most study permit applicants, but not for US citizens. So if you are a US citizen, you do not need to worry about biometrics. A few updates related to COVID that the Government of Canada has clarified. So, if we are in the situation where there are some students who are outside of Canada who are waiting for their study permit to be processed, and they're not able to travel to Canada, IRCC or the Government of Canada has clarified to say that students can begin their studies outside of Canada without a study permit. So that was something positive. And also that online studies, if a student does start their studies from outside of Canada online, that it will not impact their eligibility for a post-grad work permit, which I'll talk a bit about the next slide. So so just a bit about maybe immigration after graduation. So after you finish your studies at Mount A. So Canada has a pretty competitive immigration policy for international students. While students are studying, you don't require an additional permit to work in Canada. So you can work just with your study permit part-time while you're studying. So while classes are in session, up to 20 hours a week, both on and off campus, and then full-time during any breaks. So, during the fall reading week or in spring break or during the spring and summer term, you can work full-time. Canada has a post-grad work permit program. And so if you graduate from Mount A 4-year degree program, you would be eligible for a 3-year open work permit upon graduation, which is a really great opportunity. Open work permit, meaning that you can work anywhere in Canada with any employer. So it's really like a free ticket to to stay in Canada and to explore other options. If you're interested in potentially staying in Canada long term, there are permanent residency programs, which again are kind of targeted to or specifically catering to international student graduates. And so again, we have, that information, is delivered to students annually. So we often have immigration representatives come to campus and tell students all about these programs and how to apply. In the last couple of years, we actually launched an Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, which again is just for the Atlantic region in Canada, but it's a program that allows students to apply for permanent residency as soon as they graduate from university. So it's another exciting development.
All right, so thanks so much, Krista, for taking us through that piece of the presentation. I'll invite our panelists to come back to the screen here. And we've heard from Katai and Krista. I do want to take a moment to introduce at greater length Biko, who is with us as our current student representative and thus the most important person here, because he's the only person living the experience that you yourselves today are looking into living. So Biko, can you just start by introducing yourself a little bit, please, and telling us a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and why you are here at Mount Elmo?
Sure. Yeah, that's quite the introduction, Mark. My name is Biko. I'm a student from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm going into my 4th year. This is actually my 3rd summer, spending it here in Canada, spending it here in Sackville. I'm working for the communications department, but I'm also a campus ambassador. So if you do go to Welcome to College, I'm one of the faces you'll see there. Yeah, and I've really enjoyed my time here. I've been involved in quite a number of clubs and societies. So I'd be more than happy to answer all your questions. I've also been involved with the mentorship program, both as a mentee and a mentor. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them, during the session. I'm more than happy to answer.
I have a question, Biko.
Go ahead.
And before I ask my question, of course, today is for the students. So students, please, if you do have questions, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you, take advantage of this opportunity, because I was going to say last call, but if you don't ask questions today, you can always contact us after, but it's good to give them the answers now, so don't be shy. Biko, from your experience here in Sackville and at Mount Allison, what would you say is the most important advice you can give to a student prior to arrival?
Yeah, I think if you're coming in, whether you're learning online or whether you're learning here in Sackville, I think, one of the most important things to do is just be prepared, to start, planning in advance. I think, taking the time you have over the summer to go through, all the materials and resources we have on the, Reg Help website, under the registrar's office is really, really helpful. It's good to, kind of plan out your timetable, look at the courses that are on offer, look at what's, interesting, look at what you're excited by, and what you're looking to learn. I think one of the great things about Mane is that there's so many different options and so many different subject areas, but you also have the flexibility within the degree programs to go out and try courses that you might have not had the chance to try out in high school, right? So I had the chance to come here and try philosophy and try politics and try subjects like sociology, and some of those have now become part of my degree, and the things I had no really idea of. So don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone, and don't be afraid to reach out to professors as well before you come to the fall. A lot of them are really, really happy to help, and they're always excited and looking to hear from incoming new students and seeing how they can help. So don't be afraid to reach out and start planning in advance as much as you can.
Excellent advice. Thank you, Biko. Krista, I'm going to look to you for this next one. And it's a question we've heard before, of course, but student is wondering, United States is not international necessarily like everywhere else in the world in their estimation. So why would a US student bother to attend international orientation?
Yeah, so we always get questions over the summer from incoming students coming from the States who say, like, should I really attend international orientation? I'm only coming from the States. I don't think that, culturally I need to, there's that much difference that I should be able to adjust just fine. But I would say, yes, definitely come. And, I could connect you with upper year students from the States who would say, yes, international orientation was, one of the highlights of my first year. I think that, there are information sessions, but I think that, one of the most important things that students get out of international orientation are making those connections with a smaller group of students. So again, once university orientation begins, there's a lot more students who come to campus, and it's really exciting, but it's really nice to have like a smaller group of students. You're getting to meet people from all corners of the earth, and it's it's a really great program. And again, I would just say that so many students from the States who have gone through the program have said, wow, I'm really glad that I came, and I was able to get a lot out of it.
Thank you so much, Krista. So again, looking out to our attendees, this is, I don't think, a very uncommon thing. Often our American students are a little better prepared than many students coming from from other locations. So not as many questions from this group. Katai, I'll look to you for a second here. From your vantage point as the director of, let me get it right, recruitment, admissions, and awards. I know the words, I just don't necessarily get in the right order. Any advice that you would have for students as they plan their way through an exceptional summer?
No, that's a great question, Mark, because this is going to be a summer of non-stop updates and non-stop planning. And there's nothing worse than, you know, trying to plan for multiple scenarios and scenarios that are totally out of your control. And to be honest, it's out of our control too, in a certain level. Again, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, in terms of travel restrictions and so on and so forth. But one thing I can say is that the best thing to do right now is to go through the motions and be in a position where you'll be able to, if anything comes up, or be in a position to change your plans along the way. A lot of students are thinking, you know, should I start my studies online? Should I start my studies in person? I would say if you're interested in Mount Alice University, and if you're attending this, you want to be able to do it in person. So that would be my plan A. Plan B would be, if I can't physically not get there, then what is that going to look like? And as I mentioned, we are working towards a detailed plan on how to deliver those courses and the class experience to students. Obviously, you'll be missing out on that interaction on campus, even if it was through, even if it was under the cloud of COVID-19. But then my question will be then, okay, I will be able to start my courses in the fall online. Then would I be able to quickly transition to campus come January in the middle of the year? And one thing that is very easy for US students is that quick travel time to our campus, depending on where you're coming from, northeastern US or any part of US. Many of our US students are in driving distance. Many of them don't have to fly to get here. So I would strongly recommend to keep that in mind. And then the last thing you can do is to read as much as possible on what the university can offer and how we can support you in any kind of situation. So that's how I will prepare this summer.
Thanks, Katai. Biko, I'll look to you for this next question. Curious to know, as a new student coming from somewhere else 3 years ago, what was the biggest surprise for you about coming and joining the Sackville and the Mount Allison community?
For me, it's just the change of pace. Coming from a larger city, and Nairobi is the size of Toronto, and things are always moving and it's always bustling. I think just coming to Sackville and realizing that there's a different kind of pace of life. I live 5 minutes away from class. The park is 5 minutes away from class. The restaurants are 5 minutes away from class. Just realizing that I don't have to deal with traffic anymore. That was quite a relief, and something I enjoyed when I first came to Sackville. But when you reach here, also people are really, really welcoming, and that's something I was really awed by. Especially when you come from so far away, you're not really sure how things are going. I think there's a bit of uncertainty when you're an international student. Even when you're a student in general, entering a new environment. But I think really having that sense of community here in Sackville was something that I really enjoy. People will stop you on the street and they'll be looking to talk. It's different now here, and I'm here with COVID-19 because it's the 2-meter distance between everyone else. But people always looking to say hi. People always looking to hear from you and understand your perspectives. So I think that's what I've really enjoyed so far. Here at Mount A and at Sackville.
To follow up on that question, Biko, I'm curious. Yeah. It's been 2 months now since we had our last classes on campus here. And you've been in Sackville the whole time, right?
I have.
Is it that, I mean, obviously and you've been here in the summer before as well, when we typically don't have as many students. Yes, it's different here. Do you find it to be that different in Sackville right now, aside from, like the 2 meters and so forth?
Yeah. I think in Sackville in the summer, more generally, you do tend to have, because, people do head back home to their provinces, and people, if there's international students, they do head back home. So, spending summers in Sackville, it tends to be quieter and, in relation to the whole. So in that sense, it's not, too different. But I think the real difference is, you can't really gather with too many people, but I think they still, people are still looking out for each other. They started, a Sackville community group for people who are still in Sackville at the time. So people are still communicating on Facebook, and people are still staying in touch. People are sharing recipes. People are, showing photos of their pets. So you still have that goes on. And, I think even though we're not, seeing each other every single day on campus or in town, people are still staying in touch and are still, looking to be there for each other. So I think there's a lot of, resemblances and, similarities in that.
Yes, I admit it was a bit of a biased question because I've now been here for 2 months as well. And that's been one of the big surprises is, yes, it's obviously like everywhere, life is different. But at the same time, there's something that a lot of the great things about life haven't really changed here during this time, which has been nice. I mean, and we don't see other people necessarily as often, but like I ran into Vico on the street one day, for example. He ran quickly the other way. I'm not sure why, but like it is a relative. In fact, I can see Vico's building from here. I can see Krista's office right behind me. So it is a relatively small community, and whether we're face to face or have a screen between us, I don't think it changes that much at the end of the day. But it certainly is nice to be somewhere where we're close to each other. I'll make one last and final call for any remaining questions that you may have. I do thank you for the questions so far. And take the opportunity while I do that as well to remind you to keep an eye on your email and on our social media feeds as well, because we do have a lot of events coming up in the next little while. In particular, with course registration opening up on the 1st of June, we do have some more sessions planned for Zoom next week, which you'll be hearing about and which will be very helpful and answer some of the really basic questions. When I first came to the school, I did not know what is a major and what is a minor and all these things. And we don't expect you to either. So stay tuned for those and stay in touch with us and keep an eye on things as Katai said during his presentation, because a lot will be changing in the coming months. And we're looking forward to the September experience in whatever form it happens to take this year. So I do want to thank all 3 of our fantastic panelists today and for all of your assistance in all of our sessions this week. And thank the students and anyone else who's joined us today to participate. Keep in mind, if you think of a question after the session is over, admissions at mta.ca or Mark, if you want to write to me, Mark, M-A-R-K at mta.ca. We're very easy to find and very happy to help. So we understand it's a very different time this year, and we're just going to do our best to help you through and help you navigate this interesting time. So once again, thank you to all of our panelists, Biko, Krista, Katai, and thank you to all of our attendees. We're here to help you, so stay in touch with us. And until then, have a most wonderful afternoon, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Bye, everybody.